just, gosh, just like, just imagine this or imagine that, or the opportunity, the lost opportunity for him. It's just all sad. It's just heartbreaking.
Hi everyone, welcome to the program. Kindly press the subscribe button and thumb up on this episode. Kody Brown of Sister Wives fame is discussing how difficult it's been for him to lose his son Garrison Brown. With the terrible things some fans told him following his adult child, whose mom is Janelle Brown, passing away, it might be time for all of us to consider Kody's feelings. In fact, he was away from Garrison when he died, but families don't always agree and fight and make up later. They could have perhaps sorted themselves out if they had a longer time. Kody can't reverse things now, and sometimes it might be impossible to accept. Most likely, grief and shame are too overwhelming to handle. Grief is so painful and is in waves. Kody has also been nicer and gentler lately. He gave Janelle and Meri Brown larger interests in the Coyote Pass land owned by the Brown family. Kody admitted that his ex-wives did help the family in some way, which was a gentlemanly thing to do. Christine Brown did as well. Unfortunately, Kody's stubbornest ex-wife didn't receive part of the acreage. She came back home to the family. She was thus not included in the new deal that will see Meri and Janelle receive $375,000 each. Kody voices his feelings upon losing his kid. There's a sad loss. Kody spoke about the passing of Garrison during the May 4th edition of Sister Wives and termed it as sad. He added that he never had a chance to make things okay between them prior to Garrison's death. His wish was to have his boy return to Wyoming so that he can be buried near his grandma, Cheryl. Is there anything worse or more dismal? This is as bad as it gets. And Kody also has to deal with fan criticism, which adds to the pain that is already hard to endure. Maybe not knowing that Kody would be in a fragile condition at the time. One fan criticized his errors on Instagram. One of these viewers who was commenting on the latest episode criticized Kody for placing more emphasis on Robyn Brown's diesel gene model than on parenting, saying, "I hope your diesel gene model goes well." As always, most of the comments were so rude that it is not suitable to post them here. Although the above comment is one of the kinder ones, it is still painful. Kody should be miserable every time he reads all this crap. He hasn't yet. Though it may be a good idea to shut down the comments which are present on his older entries. Life is not very kind to Kody. People should try to put themselves in his shoes. In light of his seeming changes, it is likely that Kody is struggling with intense grief, which is influencing him and making it easier for him to feel other people's pain. Some people need to pass through tribulations before they finally understand what other people are experiencing. Individuals who have gone through much tend to be very kind to others, but the fact that life is so is unfortunate. They don't want other individuals to feel sad because they know what it's like. It's not right that Kody is getting all the blame for a complex situation. Garrison had problems before he died that might have led to his death. Garrison was upset about being estranged from Kody, but it might have been more than that. It's a lot to conclude that the actions of one individual led to the death of another individual, and it can result in the accused individual suffering dreadful psychological damage. Having gone through the worst, Janelle and Kody now have to learn how to live without their child while enduring all this misery. Similar to many parents, Kody has had disagreements with his children. Before Garrison died, there was only one Kody and 18 kids. Yes, the other wives left him because he preferred Robyn over them. Alright, how he went about it may be open to criticism. It is questionable, however, to inform somebody that they were a bad parent when they are grieving. Theoretically, this could push a vulnerable individual over the edge. It would be a gross understatement to call it bullying, and Kody has suffered this kind of discrimination for years. But he had never lost a child before. Now reading these offensive comments and dealing with the emotions they evoke must be draining. The worst offending comments might haunt him, giving him sleepless nights, terrible remorse, and a lot of misery. Kody has to read some offensive remarks. Supporters are not shy, even though the fans will still have their say wherever they can. Putting them up directly on his Instagram page, where he will definitely be able to view them, may not be wise. No one is sure of Kody's state of mind. All they know is what they can see in off-screen or on-screen interviews. Kody may be concealing part of his emotional issues. If he is, he can get depressed from reading those comments. Nothing can bring Garrison back. Telling Kody what he does wrong as a husband and father won't make a difference. However, the barrage of what amounts to hate continues. Vending does make people feel better, but how does Kody feel, and does it matter? It should. In spite of some signs of distress, no one was able to see into Garrison's head prior to his death. Knowing that Garrison would need her help, Janelle contacted him. She tried to rescue him. Still, no one knows everything about his feelings and thoughts. Every individual has notions that they keep to themselves every now and then for a really long time. They keep to themselves their most personal thoughts and worry about tensions in their life. This is why it might be so negative to introduce gloom into an individual's life. They may already be tight-lipped. Sister Wives Kody Brown has to carry a burden so heavy that it must be paralyzing sometimes. He cannot negotiate with his deceased son or apologize to him. A precious baby, a sweet and innocent toddler, and a young man who was trying to find himself are what are remembered. Those memories are wonderful to be sure, but they can also hurt someone. Fans need to be nicer to Kody because he could snap. They can't say anything to him that he hasn't already thought of. Maybe everybody has to evolve now. Garrison of Sister Wives takes a nap in an emotional Mother's Day episode on Sunday, May 11th. Sister Wives fans will see the funeral of Garrison Brown in an emotional Mother's Day episode. On May 4th, the fan-favorite TLC reality show finally recognized the passing away of Janelle and Kody Brown's child. A sad bow will now mark the end of this chapter. For more information, keep reading. In a poignant Mother's Day episode, Garrison was buried. Sister Wives Season 19 began with a warning about Garrison Brown. The season was recorded prior to his suicide in March of 2024. Consequently, the network wished to mention the filming schedule and also pay respects to his death. Fans were, however, distressed that Garrison did not appear in any pictures, flashbacks, or scenes. While the family wished to be very careful about avoiding featuring him, they felt that he was being erased. The family finally came to terms with Garrison's death on the Sunday, May 4th episode. They discussed about how they were notified and Garrison's challenges he had endured for a long time. He was drunk and soon, like everyone else in the family, his life was over. Kody expressed that he planned to bury Garrison next to Grandma Cheryl in Wyoming to take him home. Janelle agreed, and prior to him being cremated, as was his wish, they conducted a very short viewing for immediate family and friends. Now he will finally rest in peace in the upcoming episode on May 11th, which coincidentally is Mother's Day. During this touching episode, the entire Sister Wives cast will return together. It was Garrison's death that brought everyone together. As per Meri Brown, who was obviously shocked by his suicide, she loathes that for the Browns to reach a point of understanding, he had to die. Since Isabel Brown's graduation, they are likely not to have all been in one place. Numerous people attended Gwendolyn Brown's wedding thereafter, but still there was much hostility. All of that will be put aside in remembrance of their son and brother who died. Are the fans ready? On the May 4th episode, Sister Wives fans were not ready to bid goodbye to Garrison Brown. Everyone was sad because they had seen him grow and suffered a lot with the family. It was painful to listen to everyone narrate the day he passed away and those who followed. Our audience had prepared all of us for everyone to come together and bury him. It took courage for Janelle to share with the world about her baby. Maybe by speaking out about depression with the family, someone will gain some encouragement. Babies don't have to be buried by their parents. The loss of my child was unimaginable. I would be devastated. This episode, in my opinion, was put together as well as it could have been. Garrison, rest in peace. Pleading face. Will it be simple to observe? Obviously not. This should never occur. Regardless of what others may think of the family, prepare your Kleenex because no one should have to bury their child. As viewers gear up for viewing the release of incredibly emotional moments, the current installment of a hit reality program has turned into a tragedy. The tragedy which shook the ground of a previously harmonious family is exposed in the upcoming installments. A show that formerly probed the intricacies of multiple marriages has turned into a platform for group mourning and giving an honest peek into the way a family copes with the unimaginable. The latest plot revolves around the tragic demise of one of the family's sons, a young man whose humor, inventiveness, and generosity once shone on television. Fans who had seen him develop close-up were deeply shaken by his untimely death, which occurred within the confines of his Arizona home and caused shockwaves in online forums. Thousands of individuals who had been following his life throughout the years were impacted by the gloom that transcended the family. The tone of the show has changed since the episodes are preparing to disclose these delicate moments. There is now solemn silence instead of the previously vibrant conversation and remarks. While many followers grapple with the sensitive nature of what is to come, conversations have become contemplative. It is expected that these episodes will take an honest and candid view of heartbreak, bereavement, and the long healing process. The death of the young man was openly attributed to severe personal struggles, compounded by drug use that eventually led to his death. Though investigators didn't find any evidence of wrongdoing, his family wasn't really reassured by the result. Ever since, his mother, a tough and resilient woman on the show, has posted bits of the goodbye service that celebrated his life. She permitted individuals to view her sorrow, her strength, and her continued efforts to seek peace amidst the storm through somber photos and emotional videos. Internet forums have evolved into sanctuaries where viewers can post their own stories, reflect on the young man's legacy, and offer comfort to the grieving family. The vision of him snuggled up with his beloved kitties in his favorite leather chair is one especially touching memory that is often brought to mind. It is a photograph of contentment and peace in a world that ultimately turned out to be too much to bear. Some remember his photographs, a craft he acquired lovingly, a moment which they now treasure mementos. Others who knew from the beginning of his existence speak of a deep torturing sorrow. Most of us could identify with the connection so that family and audience became indistinguishable as he grew from a rambunctious kid into a thoughtful and independent man. His gentle way and quick mind created an impression that cannot be erased. Some individuals have shared some of their own experiences with bereavement in this venue. Though their experiences vary, a woman grieving for her stillborn babies recognized that they share a common lexicon on the level of grief. Others shared stories about friends, partners, and siblings whose lives were lost to identical inner struggles uniting strangers in communal sorrow. Recognizing the importance of these moments, creators of the show have encouraged viewers to approach them with compassion. Moderators of online forums have respectfully reminded members to steer clear of critical remarks and leave space for introspection and empathy. It is a tribute to a life lost too early and is not just an episode to watch. Viewers will not only observe the consequences of loss, but also how it has impacted the family structure as these situations are enacted on television. The bereaved mother has moved towards a new start and is now residing in the eastern part of the country. She is building a new chapter surrounded by loving family members, one of whom is an adult child. She commemorated the groundbreaking of her home of long-standing hopes in recent weeks, indicating that loss can transition into hope. The building close to individuals she loves is more than a material building. It is proof of strength, of deriving purpose in adversity, and of paying homage to a loved son. With her child, she has gone on to develop in her wellness endeavors, while indulging in her profession. Their collaboration with the health and lifestyle company has grown into a collective goal of empowerment and renewal, as opposed to simply an economic activity. Whether visiting with friends or attending health conferences, the mother often posts images of her improvement, providing a glimpse into her ongoing healing journey. The family is mourning as they prepare for these episodes to be broadcast. It wasn't an easy decision to open up cameras into their lives at such a fragile time. It was a choice to open up the world to share in their grief and shed light on the quiet pain that so many experience behind closed doors. In doing so, they hope to fight stigma, open up conversations, and perhaps make someone else feel less isolated. The death of this individual is a wake-up call to the fragility of life and the importance of community, transcending a simple episode in a reality show. It is a call for love, compassion, and empathy towards the unexpressed weights that many carry. To pay him tribute, the family resolves to celebrate instead of just grieving, to keep the memory of a friend, brother, and son alive. The next season will have the most personal and intense material the show has ever produced. Although the storylines have often included conflict, change, and growth, this chapter is different. It is not about creating space for mourning and slowly rebuilding once it has passed, but about making space for it and slowly rebuilding once it has passed. The shows will give viewers more than entertainment. They will provide a mirror so the audience can look at their own suffering, memories, and losses. And perhaps healing can begin in that common vulnerability. A man once considered hardened by decades of struggle and alienation now finds himself drenched in grief over a terrible loss that has shaken the foundation of his life. Unresolved questions and unforgotten emotional scars linger after the loss of his child. A spirited young man with life and promise. To lose a son is a tremendous cause of heartache. This man's misery is compounded, however, by the shaky relationship they have had in their final years together. He now must live in the shadow of what can only be guessed at because time ran out before bridges could be mended. Dealing with such loss is not simple for a man who had many kids, the son included, whom he lost. The memories of lost time, lost moments, and words never spoken hold on to each other like thick fog. Negative public attention does not ease the sorrow. Indeed, the long focus that has been on his family for decades worsens the issue. He has to tolerate the views of numerous strangers, many of whom are not inhibited in their comments, while others might mourn in isolation. Critics' biting comments slice straight to the heart. In a time when sympathy should be the order of the day, they ridicule, blame, and jeer him. Others assert that his son's death resulted from his actions as a father. Even in their story there is some level of alienation, and the entire situation is much more complicated than could ever be understood by outsiders. The rich reality of family poverty is seldom seen in projections made at a distance. The man's demeanor has greatly changed since this tragic course. In ways previously unimaginable, he now has softened. Now all these things are occurring that he may never have considered in the past. He related some of the family's pulled property, awarding 2 of his former partners greater stakes as a symbol of acknowledgement and perhaps penance. It is a small but telling gesture that shows an enhanced appreciation of their individual sacrifices and contributions over the years. Even though she had a large presence in the past, one ex-partner was excluded from this split because she had already relinquished her share. Nevertheless, the recognition has material and symbolic value for the individuals who are receiving their share. This bereaved father spoke with clear sorrow in a recent episode that was broadcast early in May. As he remembered his son, his voice trembled, wishing they had reconciled before to the boy's untimely death. He spoke of wishing to take his baby home and bury him alongside loved family members who had already passed away. Besides inflicting new emotional scars that may never heal, the loss has reopened old scars. Apart from his inner anguish, the man has to face the cruelty of public opinion. Criticism has been particularly vicious on social media, particularly on a platform where users comment quickly and spend a lot of time considering the impact of their words. One remark, a blistering jab that likened his parenting to his devotion to one woman in his life, stood out from the flood of criticism. Even this remark has a bite that cuts to the bone even as it is written in a comparative moderation. He can close the door to the world outside, switch off the remarks, and step away from the internet. But he doesn't. He continues to let others into his life, whether out of duty, obstinacy, or a need to remain present in the midst of pain. Not many people can resist the onslaught of criticism that this choice subjects him to. With public denunciation superimposed over the already excruciating pain of losing a child, the weight becomes unbearable. There appears to be a lack of sympathy. Fans prefer demonizing while others console. They blame without fully understanding the situation and exploit grieving as a spectacle. It is unfair and psychologically harmful to believe that another person's failures were solely the reason for someone's death. No one can presume to understand what was happening in the deceased young man's heart. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Receive more updates on a daily basis. Until